Hi, welcome back. I just mowed the meadow again yesterday, so these are fairly fresh grass clippings. I'm going to mulch everything that can be mulched now. Earlier today I went around and I watered everything, made sure the soil was nice and moist, and now we'll mulch it to keep that moisture in. Last year I mentioned that I didn't like to take the fresh meadow clippings and stack them up deep around a vine or a potato stalk or something, because this stuff heats up fast. I mowed the meadow yesterday, so around 5 o'clock, 5:30 yesterday this pile was finished. What I have here, it's a meat thermometer. You stick it in your roast when you put it in the oven, and then this cord can come outside and monitor the center temperature of your roast. But now we're going to use it to see what the temperature of this compost is. A heap of metal clippings just sitting 18 hours. I'll stick that down there. We'll have to wait. Okay, so it's 69 degrees Celsius. That's 156 degrees Fahrenheit. And we're just in maybe 12 inches, 8 inches. Just enough to shade the ground, a couple inches. I'll probably do that later again the growing season as well. Potatoes now, you make sure you have a good covering for those, because you're trying to keep the light off of the tubers to prevent getting green tubers. And even into the shade, you need a good covering for your potatoes. For beans, you give a medium mulch about 2 inches, and it can go in close. It's got a nice stalk, you see, coming up, and you can put it fairly close in. Potatoes, to keep the light off of the tubers that are closer to the surface, you need to keep it heavy mulch. And from now on, every time I mow the meadow, I'll be checking the potatoes and see if this needs to be reapplied, because this stuff, it decomposes throughout the year, and it'll settle down, and I'll need to keep the light off of the tubers, I'll need to keep reapplying mulch to the potatoes. The cabbage and cole crops, they're you can mulch them pretty heavily, but as you can see, I have a little opening around the plant. Outside, because they're so far apart, I can really pile up the mulch, and then as I get close to the plant, there's a depression by each plant. Since we're here, check the kohlrabi. it's starting to get a bulb right there already. So that's exciting. See, it goes right in around the kelp. Spinach, you need a kind of more of a opening by its base. Lettuce, because of the way lettuce grows, I have a thinner, about the same as what I've done with the beets, to mulch around the lettuce. And then these, there's less of a mulch because the plants are still really small. Looking along at the onions, this is why, one of the reasons why I put the rows at least 6 inches apart, because I can put just a drill of compost, of mulch, down the center of each row, and you see at the row itself there's a depression in the mulch, because it is not a good idea to heap mulch right up around your onions. This one is starting to get flowers. It's one of the ones in the pails, so I'm going to have to move this one out to a more isolated area now. Around the corn and zucchini, you can actually put on quite a deep mulch, and I started to do so. But out there now there's some carrot seedlings I mentioned in a previous video. I went through and I mulched all the way through the Jacob's cattle, but over here once again there is actually quite a lot of carrot seedlings, so this is why this area is not mulched. Going along by the front fence, there's some areas where I don't have much planted, but even if you don't have much planted, rather than just let it go and weeds grow up and the like, just load the mulch on and let that compost in place over the growing season. That way, even though you're not working with that little bit of land at the moment, it is being prepared for the following season. And here's another example along the front fence where you just bury on as much mulch in the open spaces as possible. Mulching for today, very important if you want to minimize the amount of water that you're using. It's very important to mulch as much as possible. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hit the thumbs up. If you enjoy this kind of content, make sure you're subscribed and follow along, and I'll see you in the next video.